Hello, I'm Zenshin Florence Kaplow. I am a Soto Zen priest and teacher, and this will just be a brief introduction to Zazen practice in the Soto tradition. So I want to offer this partly because maybe at some point you'll have an opportunity to go to a Zen center, and it's nice to kind of know how things work there, but also for your home practice. I'm recording this from my home. This is my practice place. It's great to create a little place in your home that's just for meditation practice, for Zazen, if that's something you're called to do. I often recommend that there be a little altar. You could put whatever it is that inspires you. You could put a candle. You could put flowers on that altar, just as a way to bring yourself into a feeling of, yes, I'm really doing something intentional here. If incense is okay for you, it's also very nice to offer incense before you start sitting. So traditionally, when we have a meditation hall and whatever space in your house you've created has become a meditation hall, you would remove your shoes before entering. And I'm barefoot, but you could also be in socks. If you're sitting with other people at a retreat or a Zen center, you would generally be in entirely dark clothing. I wore light colored pants for this video so that you can see the positions of my legs as I'm sitting, because with a dark cushion and dark pants, that's all you see. So, but normally you'd be entirely in dark, comfortable, fairly loose-fitting clothing. Don't have to go out and buy special Japanese clothing, though, for sitting Zazen. So the way that we begin is standing with our hands in shashu, and I'll show you what that looks like. That's taking your left hand, making a fist, putting your right hand over your left. That's the position that we keep our hands whenever we're standing or walking in a Zen environment. And I'm going to begin by showing you how we sit down. And I'm going to show you on cushions, and then I'm going to show you with a chair. So I'll begin by coming to my cushions here that are over here, and I'll do a bow to the cushion and then to the world. That's kind of a way of expressing appreciation and gratitude and acknowledgement. So the way that we do a bow is that we bring our hands up like this with our elbows out. This is called a gasho bow, and then we just bow from the waist. So I'll do that now. I'll walk up to my cushion. I'll turn. I will bow to my cushion. I will bow to you and to the world, and then I'll sit down. And in some places, people sit facing the wall, and you can try that practice, or you can sit facing out into the room. If you sit facing the wall, you'd be sitting down the way I am, but then you kind of, once you're sitting down, you kind of turn yourself around so that you're facing the wall. All right, I'll sit down here. So there are a number of positions that are just fine. Probably the most traditional, very few people sit full lotus, but some people can do that. But another option, if you're fairly flexible, is half lotus, which is taking one of your feet, whichever one is more flexible, your left or right, and bringing it up onto the thigh of the other foot. So that's half lotus. Another possibility is what's called Burmese posture, which is you're not crossing your legs exactly. You're bringing your ankles kind of in line with one another, and then bringing your knees down. If your knees are up in the air in any of these positions, you want to put a support cushion under them so that you're fully supported. A third possibility for those who are maybe not as limber, but still want to be in a cushion, is what's called seiza, which is you sit on a cushion or on a meditation bench, that's what they're designed for, with your knees in front of you and your feet behind. This is also a very supportive posture. Finally, there is the option always of sitting on a chair. And there's actually a way, with this chair, you treat it just as you would sitting on cushions. Put your chair there. I bow to the chair. You always turn to the right. And then bow to the world, and then sit down. Whether you're sitting on cushions or on the chair, you want to be sitting on the front third of whatever you're sitting on to protect your sciatic nerve. And then you want your feet flat on the ground. And if that means that you need a cushion under your feet, you can put one there. And so this is a very strong and stable posture. You notice I'm very upright, so I'm not leaning back against the chair. And what I do as soon as I have sat down is I begin by just swaying back and forth, just coming into a sense of where the true center of gravity is for me. Maybe a little bit this way too, forward and backward. And then I have a feeling of a really upright spine, an open chest and heart area, not over curving my spine, either arching it or slumping down, but really a kind of dignified and upright position, with my head being held by my skeletal system. So this feels very good. I feel very present and awake in this position. And generally, if you are coming to a place with other people sitting, you want to get there a little bit early, about 5 minutes before the sitting starts, so that you can really settle and find your position. And then you'll hear a bell. And I have an example of a bell here that I'll ring for you so you can hear what it's like. So usually, a period of sitting starts with 3 bells. And at that point, everyone is in their places, everyone is silent, and you're ready to start sitting. Now, the position that we put our hands in Zen is called the cosmic mudra. And we take our right hand, we place it in our lap, left hand over, and the thumb tips, they're making this beautiful kind of circle. The thumb tips are just touching. It said that it should be, you could almost move a piece of paper between your thumb tips. So they're in contact, but not pressing together. And you want to have a feeling of also making a circle with your arms, having your elbows out a bit. And in Zen, we sit with our eyes open and cast down at about a 45-degree angle towards the floor. It's nice to begin with a couple of deeper breaths, just to clear out the old air in your lungs. But in Zazen, we don't breathe in any particular way. We're not trying to make the breath be or do anything. Just however the breath wants to happen after those first deeper breaths. And I begin by really feeling my whole body here, from my feet, through my legs and my arms, my head, all the way to the crown of my head. The movement of breath in the body. And at this point, you have some options in terms of how you might like to sit. You could count your breaths. This is a classic way of beginning practice, but some people, it's their practice all their life. So you could begin by just, all you do is count the out breath. So you breathe in, and then quietly to yourself as you breathe out, 1. Breathe in, 2. all the way up to 8 or 10, and then you come back to 1 again. And when you lose track, which you will, you just return to 1. There's no blame for losing track. Our minds are slippery eels, and they'll go where they want to go. And so when your mind wanders, you just come back to the breath. So that's one way of practicing. Another is to drop any kind of counting and just be aware of breath and body in an alert but relaxed and gentle way. And when your mind wanders, again, as it will, you just come back to the feeling of the body, breath. So in Soto Zen, we have a practice called shikantaza, or just sitting, that's pretty radical. It's really dropping any, as they say, any desire to become a Buddha. But just, if you may not have had that desire, but you might have a desire for greater calm, greater ease, less suffering. All of us come with those kinds of desires. But in this form of practice, we just sit right in the middle of our lives with whatever it is that's coming up, just allowing our whole life to be here, including thoughts of past and future, discomforts, joys and sorrows, the weather outside, the people or animals around you, whatever arises. There's room for it all. But there's still this feeling of awakeness and awareness. This is a wonderful way to sit, I find. How often do we stop and really feel our full aliveness? The mystery and miracle of being alive at this time. The amount of time you sit, you can choose yourself what feels good to you, what's in alignment with your body and mind. In general, I'd say 15 minutes, if that works for you, is a good minimum amount of time. But maybe on some days you only have 10, whatever works. In a Zen center, the common amount of time is anywhere from 25 to 40 minutes. You do need to take care of your body. You need to find a position that is supportive for you, that is not excruciatingly painful. And if you do need to move, you just bring your hands up, do a little bow, and adjust your posture with a lot of awareness, and then just bring your hands back. At the end of a period of Zazen, there's usually either 1 or 2 bells. And at that point, you just do a little bow right at your seat. You stand up, you turn around, and if you've got a cushion, you kind of fluff your cushion, you clean off the zabuton that the cushion's sitting on in. You do a little bow, just as we did before. You turn around, you do a little bow to the world. Thank you for supporting me in my practice. And then you'd stand at your place, take a couple of breaths to just come into awareness. And then with intention and awareness, you can leave to the rest of your day, which can also be Zazen, can also be, as much as possible, being truly present for your life as it is. Thank you. I hope that this is helpful on your journey towards a Zen practice that supports your life.